Are the Chicago Bulls players really not being listened to by the organization? Let's talk about it. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA here to talk about the Chicago Bulls. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, and make sure to go ahead and subscribe because I do talk a lot of NBA on this channel, and especially with the Chicago Bulls. So if you're a Bulls fan, go ahead and subscribe. Turn on the post notifications. Follow me, guys, on my social media links down below and on the screen, as always. So with that being said, a new report came out. Okay, a new report comes out that basically says that the Bulls players, are concerned that they are not being listened to by the organization. So, I've read the report. I wanted to talk about it because a lot of you guys messaged me and said, Faiz, what do you think about this? Is this true? What does this say about the new Bulls regime, the current Bulls players? What's going on? So let's talk about it. Let's dive into it. Okay, so this report is coming from the Chicago Sun-Times and columnist Joe Cowley, who basically wrote that there's growing concern that Bulls players aren't being listened to by the organization. Now, I've read the report, and a lot of it basically talks about the fact that, obviously Jim Boylen is still a head coach here, and there are a number of Bulls players who have made it notable publicly and privately that they're not fans of Jim Boylen and they want the Bulls to move on, right? So we've had Daniel Gafford, who actually talked about it on stream. I haven't, mentioned this, but he literally, was answering a fan's question and talked about how he's not a big fan of Jim Boylen. And obviously we've had some other players say it. Denzel Valentine. We've had some players we know privately that aren't fans of him. Zach LaVine, I'm sure, is not a fan of him. There's Lauri Markkanen. And really, there's a lot of players, more players, that don't like Jim Boylen than do. And so that is one aspect of it, right? The players aren't sold on Jim Boylen. We all know this. This isn't breaking news. But the other concern is also the direction of the team, and more so who the team is being built around, right? So last year we saw Lauri Markkanen have a regression type of year because he was not being used right. He was kind of phased out of the offense that's centered around Zach LaVine, and Lauri became a spot-up shooter. Okay, so there's concerns with players on, what's the direction of the team? Is it Zach LaVine's team, and then we're all just, sidekicks? Is it Zach and Lauri, and, we're kind of building around that core? Is it Kobe White, who's going to be, the guy that we're building around? So who is this team going to be built around? Who are the main components, etc.? Okay, so those are sort of the concerns here, and that's kind of summarizing what the report is about. Okay, now the Jim Boylen thing, we're beating a dead horse here at this point. Good Lord, we all know this. Jim Boylen needs to go. Now, I have been in the camp saying it is going to happen. Am I a little frustrated that it hasn't happened until now, or since it hasn't happened yet, I should say, because it hasn't even happened until now, because it hasn't happened now. Am I frustrated? Yes, I am frustrated, okay? But I still believe that it is going to happen. And my reasoning that it hasn't happened yet is because of the fact that there is no sense of urgency in regards to the time. The season isn't starting tomorrow, or in a month, or in 2 months, 3 months. It's starting in a number of months, okay? We're talking all the way till December, okay? So there is plenty of time, but you can make the argument, if there's plenty of time, why don't we just cut Jim Boylen now and, get on with it? Well, the other thing that I'm not happy about is I do believe ownership and John Paxson, who is still obviously not been fired yet. He's still part of the Bulls staff, even though his role is reduced. They are probably still advocating for Jim Boylen. And so I believe the new regime and Arturas, Karnisovas, and Mark Eversley, they're still kind of evaluating everything, okay? So in regards to the Jim Boylen thing, my answer has been the same. There is no sense of urgency, but it will happen. I've said 99.9999% that he's getting fired. There's no chance that he's not. Well, 0.00001, whatever. But he is getting fired. It's just a matter of time. And then in regards to the direction of the team, my thoughts on this is fairly simple. And I kind of agree with this if this ends up being the case, is I don't believe the new regime is decided yet on the direction of who they want to build this team around. Okay, so, Zach LaVine's the easy answer, right? He had a breakout season last year. Clearly the best scorer on this team by far. He's the best playmaker, and he had the best season last year of any Bull. But do you really want to build around Zach LaVine? Is he the guy that you can build around a team to get you to a championship? I'm not sure about that, and my answer would probably be leaning towards no, okay? And so then you talk about Lauri Markkanen. Well, is Lauri Markkanen the guy you want to build around? Well, clearly he showed last season that, Lauri can kind of disappear at times, and that was definitely a product of the offense, but, that has happened. Then you have Wendell Carter Jr., who's had trouble staying healthy. Kobe White came on last year, but is he a point guard, a shooting guard? Like, what is he? So there's a lot of question marks here, okay? And basically what it boils down to is this. I believe the new regime, the new front office, truly believes that no one, not a single player on this Bulls team, is untradeable or untouchable, okay? Now, with Kobe White, he's still on his rookie deal for sure, and we just drafted him, so he's the guy I kind of want to put on the side here because, again, we just drafted him, but everybody else, I'm including obviously Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr., the best players on the team, and obviously the other guys, Otto Porter Jr., Chris Dunn, etc. Everybody's tradable. And why am I saying that? Well, because if there is a chance to, let's say, acquire, a number of draft picks, or if there's a chance to acquire a superstar, and it will happen only if the Bulls flip these guys, I could see the organization doing it. I could see the organization, the new regime I'm talking about, hitting a brand new reset with trading away everybody and just accumulating draft picks and building the new team through the draft, right? So my point being is we don't have a Luka Doncic. We don't have a Zion Williamson. We don't have that guy that you're like, okay, we're building around him for the next 10 to 15 years. I like Zach LaVine. I really do. I just feel like Zach LaVine is the second or third best player on a championship team. Okay, same way I feel about Lauri Markkanen. And so that's the reason why I feel that way. And if we had a Luka, if we had a Zion, then you absolutely build around those guys, and that's what you do. But I believe there are so many things unclear with this Bulls team that the new front office is just waiting to see what they want to do. And folks, I'm telling you right now, please don't underestimate how much of an impact this pandemic is making as well, okay? Arturas Karnisovas literally got hired and didn't go to the Bulls facility for a month because of the travel restrictions. So this also is playing a big part, the pandemic, okay? And so players, you're not able to see them as much, the coaches, the owners, etc. So keep all of that in mind, okay? So again, I'm sure there is a concern here. But at the end of the day, if they do the right thing, the new front office, that is, build the right culture and, obviously make the right moves to make this a winning team again, everybody will get over it, okay? And right now, we're in the offseason, the dead of the offseason. As we get closer and closer to the regular season, I'm sure there will be moves being made. But right now, I believe the new front office, Eversley and Karnisovas, are just sitting back, assessing the situation. Let's see what we want to do. Where they're asking the questions. They're trying to go about it. So I'm preaching patience at this point. Let's not worry that everything's toxic and, the Bulls locker room is done. If they do end up keeping Jim Boylen, things like that, yeah, absolutely. But let's pause for a little bit and hit the brakes, okay? So those are my full thoughts on the Bulls right now, folks. Let me know what you guys think. If you agree with me or disagree with me, leave a comment down below. As always, thanks for watching.